All right. So in this complete BI picture, uh, so text box. So this process is done through ETL, the process to move the data from the data sources file into the data warehouse. So this is called as ETL. Let me quickly clear everything and then insert it again. So we are doing an ETL here, which is extract.
Yeah, extract, transform, load. I was asking you this only, that this is the right thing of this uh, short form. I mean,
Mhm.
right meaning of this short form. Yeah.
Yes. So that means what we are doing here is we are trying to extract from the source system and then do the transformation. So let's suppose we are taking a sales amount. Let's suppose the sales amount was $100, but when you have to do the reporting, you only have to do the reporting portion of the amount. So let's say if it is only 70% and then 30% are taxes, so you will be creating additional column where you will have the business transformations, and then once that is done, you would be moving the data. So this part, extract part, is you're taking it from the source system. It could be anything, and then transformation is applying the business logic, and then loading is loading finally to this system here, which is the data warehouse. So you have this data warehouse here. Okay, and then next, the key thing what we have to remember is the data sources mostly will be OLTP. So you guys can do little more research on what is OLTP. So these are the transactional tables, and this will be normalized. So let me give a little more space to this. But when it comes to, and this is good for write operations. So if you're using Amazon website, do you would be having a lot of write operations, right? When you purchase something and then when you want to update something, so there will be a lot of write operations. So the front end data sources systems would be more useful for the write operations. And then now when it comes to the data warehouse, so this is OLAP system, and these are for dimensionalized table. Uh, Dimensional model, let me call this as dimensional model. And these are denormalized, and these are good for read operations, because all the reporting what we do is we want to read the data and then we want to present it on the front end side. So when you have to say about the data warehouse, so you will be saying that you have this OLOP, online analytical processing system, where you have dimension model, which consists of the fact tables, and then you will have the dimension tables. The data will be denormalized, and then this will be good for the read operations. Once this thing is applied, so another thing to mention here is the tools that are used to performing the ETL is whether we could use SSIS, which is SQL Server Integration Services, or ADF, which is Azure Data Factory, which is the cloud service provided by Microsoft. These are the two tools used for ETL. So let me tools for ETL.
Muhammad Sai, proceedings further. I have one question. I did not get this data sources and data warehouse. I mean, the OLTP and OLAP. Can you please repeat it again?
So OLTP, so let's suppose uh, you are having a company where there is a front end website for your customers and then for your vendors, and then there need to be a database to store all the information of your customers and vendors. Okay, so that is what called as OLTP, where you're saving the business related information. Okay, and now after you perform all the operations, you have given all the services to the front end customers. Now you want to do the reporting, and then you want to see uh, what's the sale you were able to make. So from OLTP system, you are doing an ETL, and then you are gathering the data, and then you are moving it to OLAP. So you're moving from OLTP to OLAP. So OLTP here represents transactional data, which is supporting the front-end business activities. And then AP is analytics, where you want to see how you're doing the business, whether there's a profit, loss, what all changes. So anything you have to make any decision, so you will be completely relying on OLAP. So it's only how you will be structuring the data differs between OLTP and OLAP. Other than that, both the systems will have tables, views, where you can write SQL queries saying like select star from EMP table, and then it will list all the employee tables, uh, all the employee table columns. So same thing will happen in the data warehouse as well. Got it? All right. So now we have tools for doing the ETL, which is SSIS and ADF. And then once we have that, we have already written the characteristic of a data warehouse. So we are seeing OLAP, we are seeing dimension model, which is facts and dimension. And then we are saying the data is normalized, and then data is good for the read operations. So one of the services what we have covered from Microsoft for the data movement is SSIS, or we can use ADF. So next thing for storing the data, so we have databases. So I can write it down here. So for databases, we have SQL Server, which will be on-prem. On-prem is nothing but company has their own server, or we could use Azure SQL. So we have multiple databases within Azure, but to keep it very simple, so the same way I have ADF, I'm saying in cloud, I have Azure SQL, using which I will be able to store the data, retrieve the data. So these are the two databases we have along with the ETL. So now we have SSRS, which is used for doing the reporting. So apart from Power BI, so before Power BI, we used to have SSRS for doing the reporting. So let me write this down. This is used for creating paginated reports, which are pixel perfect report. And we can print this in any format, whether it could be PDF or it could be in Excel and XML. So many formats, but this will be good for all the pixel perfect report. And then within Power BI, they have brought this service, SSRS service, into Power BI. So they are calling as paginated report. So in Power BI, it is paginated report. Okay, so let me highlight. Uh, so we have one service here, SSRS, SQL Server Reporting Services. We have another service here called as SSIS, which is SQL Server Integration Services for moving the data from the source system into the data warehouse system. And then after that, we have another service, which is called SQL Server Analysis Services. So this tabular models, what we are seeing here are basically built using SSAS. So within SSAS, we have two different modes. One is tabular, and then other one is the multidimensional. So the tabular models here are the popular models, and data mode is Vertipack, which we have already seen in Power BI. So it shares the same thing. It has the storage engine, and everything here is stored in RAM. Okay, so to have very high performing reporting, so many companies, they try to have tabular models sitting on top of the data warehouse. Otherwise, we have a complete flexibility to connect Power BI directly to the data warehouse. So I can bypass the tabular models and then I can directly connect to the data warehouse. This is option number one. Option number two is I'm creating my own models to improve the performance, which is SSAS tabular. And then Power BI now can connect to the tabular models. And then this tabular models will be pointing to the data warehouse. This is option number two we have. So overall, we are discussing about three different services from Microsoft. One is SSIS for taking the data from the different data sources and then applying any transformations here and then loading it into the data warehouse. And then we have seen the characteristics of the data warehouse compared to the source system. So the source systems will be good for front-end business activities, supporting the front-end business activities, and then the data warehouse is good for doing any business operations to see how the business is performing. Tabular models is to increase the performance of your reporting because SSIS uses this Vertipack engine, which increases the performance so that the reports will load faster and then everything will be available here. And for the front-end reporting, we have Power BI service along with the SSRS. Within Power BI, we can also do reporting, which is called as a paginated report. And then just specific to Power BI, there are multiple ways with which users can consume the reports. One is going to app.powerbi.com. So that portal allows to see the different workspaces, and then you'll be able to see the dashboard, reports, or Excel workbooks, or you can use your mobile application along with an embedded option. And then the business analyst can then analyze the data by connecting to the models directly from the Power BI service. And then we have also discussed that enterprise data gateway is a layer which sits between the cloud and then the on-premises. So anytime when you're doing an import mode is just like getting a copy of the data. So enterprise data gateway will help you to keep that data copy up to date. So if you're doing daily refresh, so every day it will try to get a new copy of the data from the data warehouse and then upload it on the front end. So when you're connecting Power BI to your data warehouse, so you would have two connection mode. One is import mode, and then second one is the direct query mode. But when you are connecting Power BI to the tabular models, then you will have a live connection. So because why you will have a live connection is, so the engine, what is shade between Power BI and tabular model is same, which is the Vertipack engine. So that's the reason you're using a live connection, and then everything will behave the same. And then Power BI only will be used for doing the front end reporting. So this is the complete overall flow. So once you have requirements, so let's say I get a requirement to complete to show the inventory management, then I will be connecting to the data warehouse. based on the tables that I need for the reporting. So let's say one is inventory table and then the other one is the products table. So I select those tables, do the import mode, and then pull those tables into Power BI. And then I'll be creating relationships between the product table and then between the inventory table. Then I also will be including date dimension table because I want to do time intelligence. So once I have these three tables created, then I will be doing reporting by adding DAX calculations. And then once I finalize everything, I'll be publishing it into the dev workspace, sharing with the manager or sharing with the business users, getting feedback. If everything is looking good, then I'll be pushing this into the production workspace. That's the complete flow you would be following. So if you have a good understanding of this complete cycle, then you should be good.